Welcome to another Gospel Outreach story. My name is Andrew Abbott, and today's story comes to us from eastern India. 4 carpenters sat on the floor of their shop in the little village of Orissa. The noise they're making from the sawing and the chiseling and the sanding mingled with their chatting as they talked about J. Matthew Reddy, a Christian man who had been visiting them recently. The visits he had conducted with them left them with many questions. He was from the elite, educated class of India, but he still was interested in becoming their friends. He made them feel valuable as he talked with them and he sat with them and listened to their stories. Now, they had heard many shifty things about Christians, many shady stories about what Christians had done, but this man seemed so genuine and kind and caring that it left them feeling confused and wondering. A couple weeks later, J. Matthew Reddy came to their place again and started talking with them. And while they were working, he offhandedly asked, "Did you know that the God I worship came down to this earth and worked as a carpenter?" The men, as they were working, suddenly stopped. They shoved away their tools and goods that they were working on. They turned to this man and they said, "A God who was a carpenter? No kidding. Tell us more. Tell us more about this God that you worship." So Matthew began explaining to them about the story of Jesus and the reality of what Jesus had done for them and all that he left in order to come down to this earth and save them from their sins. He said, Jesus, the Son of God, came down to this earth to show us what God is like. And when he came, he chose to be born to a poor little Israelite family in the house of a carpenter. We want to hear more about this carpenter God, the carpenters said. And they all agreed to meet with Matthew regularly for Bible studies. Each week he came and studied with them, and as they became convicted of the truth of what they were hearing, they decided to take a stand for Christ and make the decision to follow him. And eventually, as they kept going through the studies, more family members joined in until at the very last visit, 15 family members had joined them and were deciding to be baptized. But this decision on the part of the carpenters and their families brought trouble when the other villagers heard about it. When they realized what this family was doing, immediately they stopped buying the goods that the carpenters were selling. They stopped selling rice to these families who were Christian. They even forbade them to go and draw water from the village well. And some of the more rowdier members of the village even drove their cows into the vegetable gardens of these carpenters and got them all destroyed and torn up and eaten. Eventually, they had to bring in relief supplies from an Adventist church that was in the area for these carpenters just to survive. And the situation got so bad that they had to appeal to the district collector in that area in India to help them out. And when he learned about what was happening, he immediately sent police there to bring order back to the village and allow these people to worship God as they chose. And so even after that, even though things have gotten much better for these carpenters and they're living in a much more peaceful situation, they still face challenges every day because of their Christian faith. They still face the opposition and the scorn and the ridicule that others in that area show them. But despite the challenges, they still say, "We will remain true to our Jesus no matter what. No matter what people do to us, we will be faithful to the God who loved us so much that he was willing to come down and be born and work as a carpenter with his own hands and eventually give up everything on the cross to pay the price for our sins. Thank you so much for listening to another Gospel Outreach story. We appreciate your views, subscriptions, and comments on the Village Impact YouTube channel, and we hope that you'll join us next week for another mission story. God bless.